to the Poetry Out Loud competition. First off, I'd like to go over some theater etiquette. Please no food or drink except for water in the theater, and try not to spill if you have water. No feet on the seat. I don't think that'll be a problem with this audience. And please turn your cell phones all the way off, but if that is not possible, please turn the sound off. So to begin our Poetry Out Loud competition, we're kicking off with Nicky Manlove from Sentinel High School. His favorite book is Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, and his hobbies and extracurricular activities are speech and debate, choir, band, and GSA. Please welcome Nicky Manlove.
This is Bereavement by William Lyle Bowles. Whose was that gentle voice, that whispering sweet, promised me thought long days of bliss sincere? Soothing, it stole on my deluded ear. Most like soft music, it seemed to cheat thoughts dark and drooping. 'Twas the voice of hope, of love and social scenes it seemed to speak, of truth, of friendship, of affection meek. Oh, that poor friend to life's downward slope, lead us in peace and bless our latest hours. Ah me, the prospect saddened as she sung. Loud on my startled ear the death bell rung. Chill darkness wrapped the pleasurable bowers, whilst horror, pointing toward yon breathless clay, no peace be thine, exclaimed, away, away.
May I have Potomac student Isabella Duff on stage, please?
Hi, my name is Isabella Duff, and I'm reciting Let It Be Forgotten by Sarah Teasdale. Let it be forgotten as the flowers forgotten, forgotten as a fire that once was singing gold. Let it be forgotten forever and ever. Time is a kind friend, he will make us old. If anyone asks, say it was forgotten long, long ago. As a flower is a fire, as a hushed footfall on long forgotten snow.
Up next is Karis Beatty. She's from Hamilton High School, and her hobbies include speech and debate and drama. For next year, she's planning on majoring in foreign language, theater, and political science. Welcome, Karis Beatty.
Abandoned Farmhouse by Ted Kooser. He was a big man, says the size of his shoes, on a pile of broken dishes by the house. A tall man, too, says the length of the bed in an upstairs room. And a good, God-fearing man, says the Bible with a broken back, on the floor below the window, dusty with sun. But not a man for farming, say the fields cluttered with boulders and the leaky barn. A woman lived with him, says the bedroom wall papered with lilacs, and the kitchen shelves covered with oilcloth. And they had a child, says the sandbox made from a tractor tire. Money was scarce, say the jars of plum preserves and canned tomatoes in the cellar hole. And the winter's cold, say the rags in the window frames. It was lonely here, says the narrow country road. Something went wrong, says the empty house in the weed-choked yard. Stones in the field say he was not a farmer. The still-sealed jars in the cellar say she left in nervous haste. And the child? Its toys are strewn in the yard like branches after a storm. a rubber cow, a rusty tractor with a broken plow, a doll in overalls. Something went wrong, they say.
Up next is Kyle Campbell, a junior from Hellgate High School. Some of his favorite authors include Neil Stephenson and Stephen King. Please welcome Kyle Campbell.
I Am the People, The Mob by Carl Sandburg. I am the people, the mob, the crowd, the mass. Did you know that all the great work of the world is done through me? I am the working man, the inventor, the maker of the world's food and clothes. I am the audience that witnesses history. The Napoleons come from me, and the Lincolns. They die, and I send forth more Napoleons and Lincolns. I am the seed ground. I am the prairie that will stand for much plowing. Terrible storms pass over me. I forget. The best of me is sucked out and wasted. I forget. And everything but death comes to me and makes me work and give up what I have. And I forget. Sometimes I growl, shake myself, and spatter a few red drops for history to remember. Then I forget. When I, the people, learn to remember when I, the people, use the lessons of yesterday and no longer forget who robbed me last year, who played me for a fool, then there will be no speaker in all the land to say the name the people, with any fleck of a sneer in his voice, nor any far-off smile of derision. The mob, the crowd, the mass will arrive then.
Please welcome Potomac student Jacob Delight to the stage.
Hi, my name is Jacob Delight, and I'll be reciting Poet by Yon Noguchi. Out of the deep and the dark, a sparkling mystery of shape, something perfect comes like the stir of the day, one whose breath is an odor, whose eyes show the red stars. The breeze in his face, the glory of heaven on his back, he steps like a vision, hung in air, diffusing the passion of eternity. His abode is the sunlight of morn, the music of eve his speech. In his sight, one shall turn from the dust of the grave and move upward to the woodland.
Please welcome Addie Finney, a senior at Willard High School. Her personal motto in life is happiness is a choice.
Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, the trade winds soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on a dawn bright long, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams, his shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on a distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom.
Up next is Sentinel High School junior, Kenzie Lombardi. One of her role models in life is Elizabeth I. Please welcome Kenzie Lombardi.
This is More Lies by Karen Gottschall. Sometimes I say I'm going to meet my sister at the cafe, even though I have no sister, just because it's such a beautiful thing to say. I've always thought so, ever since I read a novel in which two sisters were constantly meeting in cafes. Today, for example, I walked alone on the wet sidewalk wearing my rain boots, expecting someone might ask me where I was headed. I bought a steno pad and a watch battery, and the store windows fogged up. Rain in April is kind of a promise, and it cost nothing. I carried a bag of books to the cafe and ordered tea. I like a place that's lit by lamps. I like a place where you can hear people talk about small things, like the difference between azure and cerulean and the price of tulips. It's going down. I watched someone who could be my sister walk in, shaking the rain from her hair. I thought, even now, florists are filling their coolers with tulips, $5 a bundle. All over the city there are sisters. Any one of them could be mine.
Please welcome Sydney McDaniels from Potomac Middle School.
Hi, my name is Sydney, and I will be reciting My Grandmother's Love Letters by Hart Crane. There are no stars tonight, but those of memory. But what room for memory there is in the loose girdle of soft rain. Yet there is room enough for letters to my mother's mother, Elizabeth, that have been pressed into a corner of a roof for so long that they are brown and soft and liable to melt as snow. Over the greatness of such space, steps must be gentle. It's all hung by invisible white hair. It trembles like birch limbs webbing the air. And I ask myself, are your fingers long enough to play keys that are but echoes? Is the silence strong enough to carry the music back to you? No, back to its source, and to you again, as though to her? As I lead my grandmother by the hand through much of what she doesn't understand, I stumble, and the rain continues on the roof with such a sound of soft, pitying laughter.
Please welcome Sentinel Jr. Aubrey Bowler. One of her favorite poets is Robert Frost. Please welcome Aubrey Bowler.
This is Love Song by Dorothy Parker. My own dear love, he is strong and bold, and he cares not what comes after. His words ring sweet as a chime of gold, and his eyes are lit with laughter. He is jubilant as a flag unfurled. Oh, a girl, she'd not forget him. My own dear love, he is all my world. And I wish I never met him. My love, he's mad, and my love, he's fleet, and wild young wood thing bore him. The ways are fair to his roaming feet, and the skies are sunlit for him. As sharply sweet to my heart he seems as the fragrance of the acacia. My own dear love, he is all my dreams, and I wish he were in Asia. My love runs by like a day in June, and he makes no friends of sorrows. He'll tread his galloping rigadoon in the pathway of the morrows. He'll live his days where sunbeams start, nor could storm or wind uproot him. My own dear love, he is all my heart, and I wish somebody'd shoot him.
Up next, please welcome Ben Peterson from Hamilton High School. He's a junior and is involved with speech and debate. Please welcome Ben Peterson.
Old Ironsides by Oliver Wendell Scott. I tear her tattered ensign down, long has it waved on high, and many an eye has danced to see that banner in the sky. Beneath it rung the battle shout and burst the cannon's roar. The meteor of the ocean air shall sweep the clouds no more. Her deck, once red with heroes' blood, where knelt the vanquished foe, when wind was hurrying o'er the flood, and waves were white below. No more shall feel the victor's tread, or know the conquered knee. The harpies of the shore shall pluck the eagle of the sea. Oh, better that her shattered bulk should sink beneath the wave. Her thunders shook the ocean deep, and there should be her grave. Nail to the mast her holy flag, set every threadbare sail, and give her to the god of storms, the lightning and the gale.
May we have Potomac student Mallory Philibert on the stage, please.
My poem is Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumiest bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the Tumtum tree, and stood awhile in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and barbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through and through. The vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjeste, callooh, callay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe.
Up next, we have Dak Cederberg, a junior from Sentinel High School. In the future, Dak would like to attend college and later grad school to earn his doctorate and become an English professor. Please welcome Dak Cederberg.
Miniver Cheevy by Edwin Arlington Robinson. Miniver Cheevy, child of scorn, grew lean while he assailed the seasons. He wept that he was ever born, and he had reasons. Miniver loved the days of old when swords were bright and steeds were prancing. The vision of a warrior bold would set him dancing. Miniver sighed for what was not, and dreamed, and rested from his labors. He dreamed of Thebes and Camelot, and Priam's neighbors. Miniver mourned the ripe renown that made so many a name so fragrant. He mourned romance now on the town, and art, a vagrant. Miniver loved the Medici, albeit he had never seen one. He would have sinned incessantly, could he have been one. Miniver cursed the commonplace and eyed a khaki suit with loathing. He preferred the medieval grace of iron clothing. Miniver scorned the gold he sought, yet sore annoyed was he without it. Miniver thought and thought and thought and thought about it. Miniver Cheevy, born too late, scratched his head and kept on thinking. Miniver coughed and called it fate, and kept on drinking.
Up next is Hannah Joy Olson, a junior from Hellgate High School. Her favorite book is The Great Gatsby. Please welcome Hannah Joy Olson.
Onions, by a poet whose name I forget. How easily happiness begins by dicing onions. A lump of sweet butter slithers and slides across the floor of the sauté pan, especially if its errant path crosses a tiny slick of olive oil. Then a tumble of onions. This could mean soup, or risotto, or chutney, from the Sanskrit chutney, to lick. Slowly, the onions go limp, and then nacreous, and then what cookbooks call clear, though if they were eyes, you could see clearly the cataracts in them. It's true that peeling them could make you weep as you unfurl and tease from the taut ball. First, the brittle, caramel-colored, and decrepit, papery outside layer. The least recent, the reticent onion wrapped around its growing body. For there's nothing to an onion but skin. And it's true, you can go on weeping as you go on in through the middle layers, through the middle skins, the sweetest and thickest. And you can go on in through to the center, through to the middle, through to something in the middle. Can I give up? Through to the core. Please, can I give up? I could do the second one. To the bud-like, acrid, something, fibrous skins clustered there. Stocky and incomplete, like the Please, can I give up? Like the nuggets of nightmare and rage and murmury animal comfort that infant humans secrete. These are the best domestic perfumes. As you sit, as you eat, as you do something to do with dinner. The smell lingers on your twice-washed hands. No, there's a rumor of the smell on your twice-washed hands. And you lift to your mouth. No, you just lift a hint of a story of loam and something else. Loam and something to do with working hard. And it's still there when you do something else. When you clean up, rinse the wine glasses and make a joke. And you leave the minutest whiff on the light switch later when you climb the stairs.
Please welcome Potomac student Rebecca Van.
Okay, I'm Rebecca and I'm reciting Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods these are I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the wood and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
Please welcome Willard, sophomore, Will Pierce. He's an active outdoorsman, loves riding bikes and writing poetry. Welcome, Will Pierce.
After a Rainstorm by Robert Wrigley. Because I have come to the fence at night, the horses arrive also from their ancient stables. They let me stroke their long faces as I note in the now merging moon how they, a morgan and a quarter, have been, by shake-guttered raindrops, spotted around their rumps, and thus made Appaloosas, the ancestral horses of this place. Maybe because it is night, they are nervous. Maybe because they too sense what they have become. They seem to be waiting for me to say something to whatever ancient spirits might still abide here. That they might awake from this strange dream in which there are fences and stables and a man who doesn't know a single word they understand.
I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Seth and Aaron, our musicians for the night, who have been gracing us with their beautiful tunes. Thanks to Seth and Aaron. Up next is Rebecca Norman, a Sentinel High School senior. Next year, Rebecca will be attending the Davidson Honor College at the University of Montana. Please welcome Rebecca Norman.
Tall Ambrosia by Henry David Thoreau. Among the signs of autumn I perceive the Roman wormwood, called by learned men Ambrosia elatior, food for gods. For to impartial science, the humblest weed is as immortal once as the proudest flower. Sprinkles its yellow dust over my shoes as I cross the now neglected garden. We trample underfoot the food of gods, and spill their nectar in each drop of dew. My honest shoes, fast friends that never strayed too far from my couch, thus powdered, countrified, bearing many a mile the marks of their adventure, at the post house disgrace the Gallic gloss of those well-dressed ones who no morning dew nor Roman wormwood have ever been through, who never walk, but are transported, rather. For what old crime of theirs, I do not gather.
Please welcome Potomac student Maya Bennett.
When You Are Old by William Butler Yeats. When you are old, gray, and full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read, and dream of the soft look your eyes had once of their shadows deep. How many loved your glad grace, and loved your beauty with love false so true, but one man loved the pilgrim soul new, and loved the sorrows of your changing face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur softly how love fled amid a mountain overhead, and hid his face amid a crowd of stars.
Up next is Hellgate sophomore Austin Graff. His favorite poet is Lord Byron. Please welcome Austin Graff.
Advice to a Prophet by Richard Wilbur. When you come, as you soon must, to the streets of our city, mad-eyed from stating the obvious, not proclaiming our fall, but begging us, in God's name, to have self-pity. Spare us all word of the weapons, their force and range, the long numbers that rocket the mind. Our slow, unreckoning hearts will be left behind, unable to fear what is too strange. Nor shall you scare us with talk of the death of the race. How should we dream of this place without us? The sun, mere fire, the leaves untroubled about us, a stone look on the stone's face. Speak of the world's own change. Though we cannot conceive of an undreamt thing, we know to our cost how the dreamt cloud crumbles, how the vines are blackened by frost, how the view alters. We could believe, if you told us so, that the white-tailed deer will slip into perfect shade, grown perfectly shy. The lark avoid the reaches of our eye. The jack pine lose its knuckled grip on the cold ledge, and every torrent burn as Xanthus once, its gliding trout stunned in a twinkling. What should we be without the dolphin's ark, the dove's return, these things in which we have seen ourselves and spoken? Ask us, prophet, how we shall call our natures forth when that live tongue is all dispelled, that glass obscured or broken, in which we have said the rose of our love and the clean horse of our courage, in which beheld the singing locust of the soul unshelled, and all we mean or wish to mean. Ask us whether with the wordless rose our hearts shall fail us. Come demanding whether there should be lofty or long-standing, when the bronze annals of the oak tree close.
Please welcome Ivor Ogden from Hamilton High School. He is a senior at Hamilton, and his hobbies include swimming, Key Club, National Honor Society, acting, and filmmaking. Please welcome Ivor Ogden.
Okay. My poem is My poem is Not Waving But Drowning by Stevie Smith. Nobody heard him, the dead man, but still he lay moaning. I was much further out than you thought, and not waving, but drowning. Poor chap, he always loved larking, and now he's dead. It must have been too cold for him. His heart gave way, they said. Oh, no, no, no. It was too cold always. Still, the dead one lay moaning. I was much too far out all my life, and not waving, but drowning. Thank you.
Please welcome Potomac student Amber Gableman.
Hi, my name is Amber, and I'll be reciting Conversation by I. We smile at each other, and I lean back against the wicker couch. How does it feel to be dead, I say. You touch my knees with your blue fingers, and when you open your mouth, a ball of yellow light falls to the floor and burns a hole through it. Don't tell me, I say. I don't want to hear. Did you ever, you start, wear a certain kind of silk dress, and just by accident, so inconsequential you barely notice it, your fingers graze that dress, and you hear the sound of a knife cutting paper. You see it too, and you realize how that image is simply the extension of another image, that your own life is a chain of words that one day will snap. Words, you say, young girls in a circle holding hands, and beginning to rise heavenward in their confirmation dresses like white helium balloons, the wreaths of flowers on their heads spinning. And above all that, that's where I'm floating, and that's what it's like, only 10 times clearer, 10 times more horrible. Can anyone alive survive it?
Please welcome Stella Shannon, a sophomore from Hellgate High School, who I happen to know is involved in just about everything. Please welcome Stella Shannon.
Ultima Thule by Linda Beards. A little candle wax on the thumbnail. Liquid at first, slipping, then stalled to an ice hood. Another layer, another, and the child lies back. His thumb, a hummock. His small knuckle buckled with cracks. No snow yet, but the last white meadows of switchwort and saxifrage mimic it. Already the bears brush back through the dwarf willows. Hubbard Point, Cape Henrietta Maria, the bay's deep arc, flattening, lessening, as land extends through the fast ice, and the seam of open leads stretches, withdraws. They have come for the pack flows, for the slow rafting, and repeat on their white faces, the boy thinks, the low strokes of the borealis. Violet mouths, madder blue at the eyelids. Perhaps he will walk to the shoreline. No shore, of course. Just miles of land-fast ice stretched over water. Stretched out to water. The line where each begins a filament, a vapor. By then, the bears will be sailors, or, far to the north, stalled in their waxy sleep. He yawns, looks down at his slipper, his floor mat of braided fleece. By then, the lights will be thicker, greens and magentas flashing, rolling in at times, like fog. To go where nothing lives. He turns, settles, to extend a little breath out over that ice. The white, cumbersome bodies migrating in reverse with the others, dragging between them a lifeline, plump and intricate, like a net, like purse seiners dragging a cork net, its great arc spiraling tighter, tighter. Now green in those lights, now blue, now pink as the boy's ear, where all night a line of cold traces the rim, the lobe, circles down, chills, and recedes.
That concludes round one. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our lovely judges, Jeff Bandock, an art advocate and volunteer editor, Amber Gray Morning, Montana State POL champion from 2008, Alex Apostle, MCPS superintendent, and Karen Sham, a poet and UM creative writing program coordinator. Also, I'd like to thank Jill Derryberry and Debbie Hendricks, who are doing the scoring tonight. And I'd like to give another round of applause to the Potomac students who are joining us on stage tonight. And thus we move into round two. Hold on. Starting up again with Nikki Manlove from Sentinel High School. He's a junior, and in 2 years, he would like to attend college, and it's anyone's guess what will happen after that. Please welcome again, Nikki Manlove.
This is The Gift by Lee Young Lee. To pull a metal splinter from my palm, my father recited a story in a low voice. I watched his lovely face and not the blade. Before the story ended, he'd remove the iron splinter I thought I'd die from. I can't recall the tale, but hear his voice still. A well of dark water, a prayer. And I recall his hands, 2 measures of tenderness he laid across my face, the flames of discipline he raised above my head. Had you entered that afternoon, you would have thought you saw a man planting something in the palm of a boy. Had you followed that boy, you would have arrived here, or I bend over my wife's right hand. See how I shave her thumbnail down. So carefully she feels no pain. Watch as I lift the splinter out. I was 7 when my father took my hands like this. And I did not hold that shard between my fingers and think, metal that will bury me. Christen it Little Assassin, or going deep from my heart. And I did not raise my wound above my head and cry, Death visited here. I did what a boy does when he's given something to keep. I kissed my father.
Up next, Potomac student Kaylee Oline.
I'm Kaylee, and I will be reciting A Narrow Fellow in the Grass by Emily Dickinson. A narrow fellow in the grass occasionally rides. You may have met him, did you not? His notice sudden is. The grass divides as with a comb, a spotted shaft is seen, and then it closes at your feet and opens further on. He likes a boggy acre, a floor too cool for corn. But when a boy am barefoot, I more than once at noon. Half past I thought a whiplash unbraiding in the sun, when stooping to secure it, it wrinkled and was gone. Several of nature's people I know and they know me. I feel for them a transport of cordiality. Never met this fellow, attended or alone, without a tighter breathing and zero at the bone.
Sorry, guys. Up next is Karis Beatty. Her favorite books are The Hunger Games. Please welcome Karis Beatty.
In the Desert by Stephen Crane. In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend?" "It's bitter, bitter," he answered. "But I like it, because it's bitter, and because it is my heart."
Please welcome back to the stage Hellgate Jr. Kyle Campbell. Kyle's involved with Missoula Robotics, Respect Club, Hellgate Cross Country, and Missoula Football Club. Please welcome back Kyle Campbell.
Isla by Virgil Suarez. In Los Angeles, I grew up watching The Three Stooges, The Little Rascals, Speed Racer, and Godzilla movies. Those my mother called los monstruos. And though I did not yet speak English, I understood why, upon being awoken after centuries-long slumber, such a creature would rise and destroy Tokyo's buildings, cars, people. I understood, at the age of 12, what it meant to be unwanted, exiled. To leave one country to go to another, where nobody wants you, nobody knows you. And I would sit in front of the TV, transfixed by the snow fizz on our old black and white. And when Godzilla would growl, his eardrum rent... Sorry, what was it? And when Godzilla would roar his eardrum-crushing growl, I would scream back at him. Each time he would whip his tail and destroy, I threw a pillow across my room. And each time, my mother would storm in and ask me what I thought I was doing, throwing things at the walls. Ese monstruo, esa isla, she'd say, that monster, that island. But I knew she wasn't talking about the movie. She was talking about her country, mine, that island in the Caribbean we'd left behind. Itself a reptile-looking mass on each map on my globe. A crocodile-like creature rising again, eating us so completely.
Please welcome our final Potomac student of the night, Martin Preston.
Hi, my name is Martin, and I'm doing We Wear the Mask by Paul Laurence Dunbar. We wear the mask that grins and lies, it hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile, with torn and bleeding hearts to smile, and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be otherwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but oh great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing, but all the clay is veiled beneath our feet along the mile. But let the world dream otherwise, we wear the mask.
Please welcome Willard Sr., Addie Finney. Her interests are painting and writing. Welcome, Addie Finney.
On Quitting by Edgar Albert Guest. How much do you think you've got? Can you quit a thing that you like a lot? You may talk of pluck, it's an easy word, and wherever you go, it is often heard. But can you tell to a jot or guess just how much courage you now possess? You may stand to trouble and keep your grin, but have you tackled self-discipline? Have you ever issued commands to you to quit the things that you like to do? And then, when tempted and sorely swayed, those rigid orders, have you obeyed? Don't boast of your grit till you've tried it out, nor prate to men of your courage stout, for it's easy enough to retain a grin. In the face of a fight, there's a chance to win. But the sort of grit that is good to own is the stuff you need when you're all alone. How much grit do you think you've got? Can you turn from joys that you like a lot? Have you ever tested yourself to know just how far with yourself your will can go? If you want to know if you have grit, just pick out a joy that you like, then quit. It's bully sport, and it's open fight. It will keep you busy both day and night. For the toughest kind of game you'll find is to make your body obey your mind. And you'll never know what is meant by grit unless there's something you've tried to quit.
Please welcome Sentinel Junior, Kenzie Lombardi. Kenzie's involved in speech and debate and theater. Please welcome Kenzie Lombardi.
On Monsieur's Departure by Queen Elizabeth I. I grieve, yet dare not show my discontent. I love, and yet am forced to seem to hate. I do, yet dare not say I ever meant. I seem stark mute, but inwardly do prate. I am and not, I freeze and yet am burned, since from myself another self I turned. My care is like my shadow in the sun, follows me flying, flies when I pursue it, stands and lies by me, doth what I have done. His too familiar care doth make me rue it. No means I find to rid him from my breast, till by the end of things it be suppressed. Some gentler passion slide into my mind, for I am soft and made of melting snow. Or be more cruel, love, and so be kind. Let me float or sink, be high or low, or let me live with some more sweet content, or die, and so forget what love e'er meant.
Up next is Aubrey Bowler from Sentinel High School. After high school, she would like to go into music therapy or become a music teacher. Welcome, Aubrey.
The Arrow and the Song by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where. For so swiftly it flew the sight, I could not follow it in its flight. I breathed a song into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where. For who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of song? Long, long afterward, in an oak, I found the arrow still unbroke, and the song from beginning to end I found again in the heart of a friend.
Please welcome Ben Peterson from Hamilton High School. After high school, he'd like to pursue pharmacy. Welcome, Ben Peterson.
Football by Lewis Jenkins. I take the snap from the center, fake to the right, fade back. I've got protection, I've got a receiver, open downfield. What the hell is this? This isn't a football, it's a shoe. A man's brown leather Oxford. A cousin to the football, maybe. The same skin, but not the same. A thing made for the earth, not the air. I realize that this is a world where anything is possible. I understand also that one often has to make do with what one has. I've eaten pancakes, for instance, with that clear corn syrup on them because there wasn't any maple syrup. And they weren't very good. Well, anyway, this is different. My man downfield is waving his arms. One has certain responsibilities, and one has to make choices. This isn't right, and I'm not going to throw it.
We are going to stray away from gas for just one song. You guys know. Who cares that it makes sense? Who cares when
Up next is Dax Cederberg from Sentinel High School. His extracurriculars include speech and debate and MCT community theater. Please welcome Dax Cederberg.
As Kingfishers Catch Fire by Gerard Manley Hopkins. As kingfishers catch fire, dragonflies draw flame. As tumbled over rim in roundy wells, stones ring. Like each tucked string tells, each hung bell's bow swung finds tongue to ring out broad its name. Each mortal thing does one thing and the same. It deals out that being indoors each one dwells, selves, goes itself. Myself it speaks and spells, crying, what I do is me. For that I came. I say more. The just man justices, keeps grace. That keeps all his goings graces. Acts in God's eyes what in God's eyes he is. Christ. For Christ plays in 10,000 places, lovely in limbs and lovely in eyes not his, to the Father, through the features of men's faces.
Please welcome back Hellgate High School's Hannah Joy Olson. She enjoys portrait work, writing, and playing the violin. Please welcome Hannah Joy Olson.
The Spider and the Fly by Mary Howitt. Will you walk into my parlor? Said the spider to the fly. 'Tis the prettiest little parlor that ever you did spy. So way into my parlor is up a winding stair, and I've a many curious things to show when you are there. Oh, no, no, said the little fly. To ask me is in vain, for who goes up your winding stair can ne'er come down again. I'm sure you must be weary, dear, with soaring up so high. Will you rest upon my little bed? Said the spider to the fly. There are pretty curtains drawn around, the sheets are fine and thin, and if you like to rest a while, I'll snugly tuck you in. Oh, no, no, said the little fly, for I've often heard it said, they never wake again who sleep upon your bed. Said the cunning spider to the fly, "Dear friend, what can I do to prove the warm affection I've always felt for you? I have within my pantry good store of all that's nice. I'm sure you're very welcome. Will you please to take a slice?" "Oh, no, no," said the little fly. "Kind sir, that cannot be. I've heard what's in your pantry, and I do not wish to see." "Sweet creature," said the spider, "you're witty and you're wise. How handsome are your gauzy wings, how brilliant are your eyes. I've a little looking glass upon my parlor shelf, and if you'll step in one moment, dear, you shall behold yourself." I thank you, gentle sir," she said, "for what you're pleased to say. And bidding you good morning now, I'll call another day." The spider turned him round about and went into his den, for well he knew the silly fly would soon come back again. So he wove a subtle web in a little corner sly, then set the table ready to dine upon the fly. Then he came out to his door again and merrily did sing, "Come hither, hither, pretty fly, with pearl and silver wing. Your robes are green and purple, there's a crest upon your head. Your eyes are like the diamond bright, while mine are dull as lead." Alas, alas, how very soon this silly little fly, hearing his wily, flattering words, came slowly flitting by. With buzzing wings she hung aloft, then near and nearer drew, thinking only of her brilliant eyes and green and purple hue. Thinking only of her crested head, poor foolish thing, at last, up jumped the cunning spider and fiercely held her fast. He dragged her up his winding stair into his dismal den, within his little parlor, but she ne'er came out again. And now, dear little children, who may the story read, to idle, silly, flattering words, I pray you ne'er give heed. Unto an evil counselor goes heart and ear and eye. And take a lesson from this tale of the spider and the fly.
Up next is Will Pierce. After high school, he plans to attend college for a degree in writing. Please welcome Will Pierce. Thank you.
Rip Rap by Gary Snyder. Lay down these words before your mind like rocks, placed solid by hands, in choice of place, set before the body of the mind. In space and time, solidity of bark, leaf, or wall, riprap of things, cobble of Milky Way, straying planets, these poems, people, lost ponies with dragging saddles and rocky surefoot trails. The world's like an endless four-dimensional game of Go. Ants and pebbles in the thin loam, each rock a word, granite, ingrained with torment of fire and weight. Crystal and sediment linked hot. All change in thoughts as well as things.
Please welcome Rebecca Norman from Sentinel High School. Her extracurricular activities include drama, choir, and graphic design. Welcome, Rebecca Norman.
Monet Refuses the Operation by Liesl Mueller. Doctor, you say there are no halos around the streetlights in Paris, and what I see is an aberration caused by old age, an affliction. I tell you, it has taken me all my life to arrive at the vision of gas lamps as angels, to soften and blur and finally banish the edges you regret I don't see, to learn that the line I called the horizon does not exist, and sky and water, so long apart, are the same state of being. 54 years before I could see Rouen Cathedral is built of parallel shafts of sun. And now you want to restore my youthful errors? Fixed notions of top and bottom? The illusion of three-dimensional space? Wisteria separate from the bridge it covers? What can I say to convince you the Houses of Parliament dissolve night after night to become the fluid dream of the Thames? I will not return to a universe of objects that don't know each other, as if islands were not the lost children of one great continent. The world is flux, and light becomes what it touches. Becomes water, lilies on water, above and below water becomes lilac, and mauve, and yellow, and white, and cerulean lamps, small fists passing sunlight so quickly to one another that it would take long, streaming hair inside my brush to catch it. To paint the speed of light. Our weighted shapes, these verticals, burn to mix with air and change our bones, skin, clothes, to gases. Doctor, if only you could see how heaven pulls earth into its arms, and how infinitely the heart expands to claim this world. Blue vapor without end.
Up next is Hellgate sophomore Austin Graff. Austin plays the drums, is involved in Taekwondo, and likes the studies of engineering and the human body. Welcome, Austin Graff.
Father. Father, by Edgar Albert Guest. My father knows the proper way the nation should be run. He tells us children every day just what should now be done. He knows the way to fix the trusts. He has a simple plan. But if the furnace needs repairs, we have to hire a man. My father, in a day or two, could land big thieves in jail. There's nothing he cannot do. He knows no word like fail. Our confidence he would restore. Of that there is no doubt. But if there is a chair to mend, we have to send it out. All public questions that arise, he settles on the spot. He waits not till the tumult dies, but grabs it while it's hot. In matters of finance, he can tell Congress what to do, but oh, he finds it hard to meet his bills as they fall due. It almost makes him sick to read the things lawmakers say. Why, Father's just the man they need. He never goes astray. All wars he'd very quickly end, as fast as I can ride it. But if a neighbor starts a fuss, 'tis mother has to fight it. In conversation, Father can do many wondrous things. He's built upon a wiser plan than presidents or kings. He knows the ins and outs of each and every deep transaction. We look to him for theories, but look to Ma for action.
Please welcome back to the stage Ivor Ogden from Hamilton High School. After completing high school, he would like to pursue a career in film. Please welcome Ivor Ogden.
Hello again. This is Uphill by Christina Rossetti. Does the road wind uphill all the way? Yes, to the very end. Will the day's journey take the whole long day? From morn to night, my friend. But is there for the night a resting place? A roof for when the slow, dark hours begin? May not the darkness hide it from my face? You will not miss that inn. Shall I meet other wayfarers at night? Those who have come before? Then must I knock or call when just in sight? They will not keep you standing at that door. Shall I find comfort, travel sore and weak? Of labors you shall find the sum. Will there be beds for me and all who seek? Yea, beds for all who come.
Just real quick before we turn our song, I just want to thank Tessa Volunteer, who is our lovely MC tonight, for the microphone on the other stage.
Competitor of the night, Stella Shannon, a sophomore from Hellgate High School.
To Elsie by William Carlos Williams. The pure products of America go crazy. Mountain folk from Kentucky, or the ribbed north end of Jersey, with its isolate lakes and valleys, its deaf mutes, thieves, old names, and promiscuity between devil-may-care men who have taken to railroading out of sheer lust of adventure, and young slatterns bathed in filth from Monday to Saturday to be tricked out that night with gods from imaginations which have no peasant traditions to give them character, but flutter and flaunt sheer rags, succumbing without emotion, save numbed terror, under some hedge of choke cherry or viburnum, which they cannot express, unless it be that marriage, perhaps with a dash of Indian blood, will throw up a girl so desolate, so hemmed round with disease or murder, that she'll be rescued by an agent, reared by the state, and sent out at 15 to work in some hard-pressed house in the suburbs, some doctor's family, some Elsie, voluptuous water, expressing with broken brain the truth about us. Her great, ungainly hips and flopping breasts, addressed to cheap jewelry and rich young men with fine eyes, as if the earth under our feet were an excrement of some sky. And we, degraded prisoners, destined to hunger until we eat filth, while the imagination strains after deer going by fields of goldenrod in the stifling heat of September. Somehow, it seems to destroy us. It is only in isolate flecks that something is given off. No one to witness and adjust. No one to drive the car.
And that concludes 2012's Poetry Out Loud competition. I'd like to make a few thank yous though, of course. Thank you once again to our judges. Thank you to the high school coordinators. Clap. Our videographer from MCAT, Philip Christensen. I know I butchered that name, I'm really sorry. And also, once again, to our lovely musicians for tonight. And the Potomac students who were so brave. And last but not least, the competitors tonight that truly did wonderful. Thank you guys.
The students that were reciting, if you could have a seat for a minute, we're just tallying everything up here. Margaret Belisle, who's the state Poetry Out Loud coordinator, is here, and she said that we can take 5 students to state and 1 alternate, and she would like to see those folks right after we're all done here. She has some things to give you. And if you liked hearing all this poetry, you might consider going to Helena on the 24th and hearing the best students reciting poems in the state. And then there will be 1 person from that competition that flies off to Washington, D.C., all expenses paid. And the lucky school that that student goes to will also receive $500 that goes for buying poetry for their library. So that's kind of an honor and also quite lucrative. So the students that compete in Washington, D.C., compete for a $20,000 scholarship that can be applied to any college that they want to go to. And there are other monetary prizes too. But the students get to go to the White House, and I'm kind of filibustering here because they're getting a lot of scores done. And it's a pretty amazing experience to be in the auditorium there and just hear all that poetry washing over you, all those words. Besides all that, though, the students that are here, I just really want to thank you tonight. And I know that sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking and you might forget a line or something, but I just thought you did really well and I was touched. And the thing that you really have won, each and every one of you, is now you have those poems by heart, and you'll always have them. So I think you're all winners. And I'm not just saying that. That's not just a cliche. Okay, so I hope that some of you parents brought your cameras, because I'd like to have all the students up here, and then right after I announce the winners, then all the folks can come down and take a good shot. But here's the list, and boy, I don't envy you judges. I know that's really tough. All these guys were great. The alternate for State Poetry Out Loud is Kenzie Lombardi. Come on up. Congratulations. Nice job. Yes, please. Okay. Okay. I don't want to stay up here all by myself. In fourth place, because we had a tie at one point, is Ben Peterson from Hamilton. Good spring. Yeah. And there's a tie here. Dax Cederberg from Sentinel, third place. Don't worry, I'll fill this in.
Okay.
Yeah. And also third place, Rebecca Norman from Sentinel High School. And I think this is maybe the third time you've been to the regionals. Yes. Congratulations. Thanks. Second place is Hellgate sophomore Austin Graff. And first place, Montana Western Regional Poetry Out Loud, is Stella Shannon from Hellgate. Okay, this is the point where anybody with a camera should rush in. Thanks all you parents and grandparents and teachers for coming. And maybe come up a little bit so you're in the light. There you go. All right. Now you guys know the drill. How's that? Made your photo up. Nice job.